Investors should be cautious about any and all stock recommendations and should consider the source of any advice on stock selection. Nothing in this broadcast is an offer to buy or sell any financial instrument, including but not inclusive to stocks, options, etc. This show is for entertainment purposes only. All investors are advised to conduct their own independent research into individual stocks before making a purchase decision. In addition, investors are advised that past stock performance is no guarantee of future price appreciation. Hey, everybody, it's the Financial Reboot Investment Team with your live show. It's Wednesday, hump day. We're at the office, our beautiful offices in Manoa. Let's get right into the show. So it was an interesting day in the stock market. Big sell down. You know, the market started out blood red. The Dow was down about 160, 170 points. The S&P was just crashing. You can see that big first red bar there. This is a chart, a one-day chart of the S&P 500. You can see that we got that one real big red bar, but guess what? We found a little bottom there at about 25.58, and we just made the trudge back upwards. You know, a little news came out about oil and energy, and they were dragging down the market. That hurt a little bit, but it basically flatlined. But then towards the end of the day, we had that speech by Trump. It looked like people were expecting a little bit more out of that speech, maybe more details, maybe more aggressive rhetoric. And we had a little sell down that last part of the half hour of the market. So, you know, it was a soft close, but it was a good recovery. We got well off the bottom. We still didn't close that gap from the sell down from the day before. But if we look at a 7-day chart, you can see that gap here. It would have been nice if somewhere in this rally we could have took that back. But you know what, though? As ugly as it got, we'll take it, right? So you guys know we're in gold. Gold started off the day really, really strong. You can see here it was building up, building up, building up, and then we came right to the inflation number. Guess what? It pretty much was right on expectations. So then we had the sell down in gold. Gold sold down, got down to about 1278. Look, it never got back to that 1275 level. So we lightened our position a little bit, but we're still a little in the play. So, you know, the big news today was Bitcoin. Bitcoin, if you look at this, look at this chart. This is a 7-day chart. This is a beautiful double bottom. You look at the big wings on the outside. Look at that very nice defined W in the middle. But again, it stopped at that 72.49. You know, we were talking about this yesterday, how it was having that little fight. And we wanted to see if it could break off that 6,000. We were looking to buy it at about 58, 5,900. It broke upwards off that 65, 6,600, and it moved right back to that 7,200. It kind of hit the wall there. So we're still in a wait and see mode. You know, I mean, we're not going to be impatient with Bitcoin. You guys see how it can take $1,000 in an hour. It can give $1,000 in an hour. So we don't want to make any mistakes with that. This, especially our first buy. If you're a Bitcoin investor and you're looking for some advice on it, right now, though, what we think is at 7,200, see what it does at this level. This is a 7-day chart, but let's go back about a month. Let's widen this chart out. You can see we're still got a bunch of collusion here. Still got that high of 7,900. But there's a lot of collusion at this 72, 73 level. So let's see how it works through this. That's a very nice retrace. You know, technically this is a nice chart. You know, that bounce off 56 and it's just continued. But it's another rubber hits the road moment for Bitcoin. So we didn't make any plays today. If you're playing it and you're looking for advice, we say if you own it already, don't let go at this level because it's going to be a little battle at 7,200, and we'll see if it can push back to challenge that all-time high. So yesterday, we gave another free pick. We gave you Nike, and in this blood red market, Nike was up 1.5% today. So if you did play that, you're up about 45%. Again, you're welcome. We gave you what the XLP calls. Those are up about 100, 150%. Just gave you the Nike calls yesterday. So if you guys are watching the show, man, congratulations. This is what it's all about. You know, we like to share the success. So if you're enjoying, please share the show. Please like the show. Please pass it on. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. We are on Twitter, we're on YouTube, and we are on Facebook. Depending on what you like best, you're probably watching this live show on it. So we've been talking about the last few days about Cisco. Cisco had earnings after the bell today. This morning, we advised all clients, all newsletter subscribers to hold on to the stock. We were talking about the last few days. We might lighten that going into earnings if we kind of sensed that it was going to be a bad earnings. Well, looks like we were right again. Cisco hit earnings. We're in those $35 calls. The stock's now trading almost at $36 after hours. That's a big winner. So even if you got in on those based on what we were playing, you probably got in about the same price we did because when we bought it, it was about $34. Um, so you probably got the options at the same price, but we'll be cashing those in. That'll be win in a row number 7. So let's take a look at the news. That's pretty much the markets. You can see the Dow Jones, man, it was really ugly in the morning, but it pulled back a little bit. It actually got under 100 points on the losses, uh, gave a little back at the end of the day, and so it ended up down 138 points. S&P 500, nice half percentage sell-off. This is a real good wash. For you experienced traders out there, you know that it's a buy the dip environment. So it's a matter right now of just finding where the bounce is. This is the second, almost third straight day of selling. So usually third's a charm, right? Based on experience. The VIX didn't give us much of a signal today. It went up to 13, but really the VIX has to get over that 20, 25, pretty much 30 level for there to be some real effective fear in the market. The Nasdaq was down 31 points, uh, about half a percentage point. So let's take a look at oil. Was the drag on the market today? Oil and energy. Oil sold down, got down to about $55. It was down even worse than that during the day. And much like everything else, the morning was really ugly, and then there was a recovery in pretty much everything across the board going on later into the day until that end of the day sell off, sell down. It was a soft sell down. So, oil ended up down about 0.75%. One of our favorites is still WPX. The stock's cheap right now. It's under $12. So, silver and gold. Gold had a rough day. It started, I think it got as high as 12.89, 85, 89. Then it ended up closing at 12.77, down about 5 points or almost half a percentage. Silver gave up that $17 level today. So if you're a silver player, you might want to take a good look at any trades you're in right now because that's kind of an inflection point. The dollar had a soft day today. It was down real hard in the morning, and it kind of came back. You can see it got pretty much break even with the euro. It's even with the yen right now. So. And that's after all the U.S. data and stuff. There was some good Asian data last night, especially from Japan. Japan, the economy's, I believe this is the 10th straight quarter that the economy's grown. Let's take a look at the news. So GOP plan to cut taxes is deeply unpopular according to latest polling. Whose polling is that? But this is an interesting one here. Ivanka Trump. A lot of people today were waiting for Trump to come out with some statement about the whole Roy Moore thing that's going on, and he really didn't. He didn't touch on it at all. We think that's because look, way back, Trump in the primary of this, when they were deciding who the Republican candidate was going to be, Trump endorsed, I believe, Luther Strange instead of Roy Moore, and Roy Moore still won the primary. So maybe Trump's just not saying anything because he said everything he wanted to say. Which is hard to believe for Donald Trump, right? I mean, but Ivanka Trump came out today and, she said there's a special place in hell for people who prey on children. She's absolutely right, okay? This is going to be probably a nightmare for Republicans if Roy Moore stays on the ticket and he wins. There's no way for the Republicans to save face on this as long as Roy Moore is on that ticket. So you can talk all you want about Bill Clinton's and all this stuff, but when it's in your house, it's your job to clean it. So if the Republicans are going to get out of this without a couple of black eyes. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to do something quick. We're rolling up on that primary. I believe it's in less than a week or so. So, uh, older Americans are sicker, more cash strapped. That really doesn't affect our trading. Majority of Americans favor killing Obamacare mandate until they hear what it means. Look, the mandate is what feeds the program um, for the people that can't pay. So naturally, if you take the mandate away, what happens is premiums go up and people start losing insurance. So yeah, we'd like to get tax cuts across the board. We'd like to get tax cuts in our pockets, but why don't we just leave the money in the people that really need its pocket, right? Um, anyway, so Senate bill boosts taxes on stock sales. We don't like that. We don't like that. You come down, you know, it's just not a whole lot of. This is an article that we caught, and what it is in the state of Washington. Right now, third-party sellers, internet sellers, are responsible for their own taxes. But in the state of Washington, Amazon's starting a program in which they'll collect the taxes from the third-party seller and pay them to the state and local governments. This is important because the percentage of taxes that are due that are collected is very low. There's a lot of wiggle room in there. You know, you're an internet seller, you sell a bunch of stuff on the internet, you just don't report it, you don't record it. The government never gets their taxes, right? That's money to build roads, that's money to do all kinds of great things, but you never collect it. Amazon is going to eliminate that problem. So they're going to start running this trial program in Washington because Washington's tax laws change on the 1st of January. And then they'll use this as a cookie cutter for others. But, you know, it's another, you know, this is the great thing about tech. When tech is used right, when tech is used for good. Nobody likes to pay taxes, but you have to pay your fair share. And Amazon is going to make sure the third party sellers do. Uh, this is cute news. Elon Musk came out today and he said short sellers are jerks who want us to die. I don't know if I'd go that extreme, but you know, when I'm long on a stock, I think all the short guys are jerks too. Hey, let's move down. So, hey, you know, Schwab's chief strategist came out today, and they, you know, we actually read this, watched this in word for word. And it was an interesting opinion that this guy gave. And basically, he's saying headwinds for the stock market in 2018. Well, you know, remember last November they were talking about headwinds for 2017. I believe the November before that is headwinds for 2016. You know, this bull market is long in tooth. But there's nothing to say. Don't ever believe that the stock market has to go down or it has to go up just because it did before. So there could be years left on this bull market. It could be over tomorrow. This could be today and yesterday could be the beginning of the end for the bull market. We don't know. So you analyze it day to day. But I think with the way things are right now with this tax reform and the uncertainty in Washington and the back and forth fighting and just a lot of moving parts going on, it's hard to prognosticate what's going to happen a year from now. So you take that with a grain of salt. You know, and then Bill Gross came out and said the stock market's like an old age retirement community. Now, this is a good sign, and this involves traders like us. Restaurant M&A is making a comeback. That's mergers and acquisitions. So, you know, there's a lot of consolidation going, but you always find that the best sectors to be invested in are the ones that are going through consolidation. You know, the big fish are buying the small fish, and they're becoming more efficient and more profitable, and things like that. So, uh, the big thing about Trump's speech was, you know, most people were expecting him to announce a deal or something like that. He didn't, but he talked about fair and reciprocal trade. It was an interesting speech. You know, I think the problem with it was people were expecting more from it. It was a good speech. You know, it was a good trip to Asia. We did well. He accomplished his missions, but you know, I think people were looking for that one big deal. The other concern right now with that is this whole trade thing is with Trump pulling out of a lot of these trade agreements. A lot of these countries are circumventing the United States and making their own little trade agreements without the U.S. How will that affect U.S. trade going forward? That's an interesting question too. Uh, let's take away. The Obamacare repeal tax plan could hand GOP a double victory. So, that plays into the article we just talked about how people, once they find out what'll be the results of that Obamacare repeal, they don't like the idea. So, this is interesting, but it would be a double victory because think about it. They spent months trying to repeal and replace Obamacare. If they can do that and get a new tax plan in one shot, then they've won two battles with one shot. That'd be nice. So, and here's your news of the day. So, let's talk about something. We do charity at Financial Reboot. We're big into charity. We believe in giving. We believe that the best gain you make is the one you give away. So that's why we give free picks and stuff. Even though they're big winners, we could hold out on these. We could just keep them for our subscribers, for our clients. We could be selfish, but we share them on Facebook. We share them on YouTube. We share them on Twitter. If you can make some money off it, all the better. But you see, there was this. We just ran a fundraiser for a bike drive. And we're trying to raise $750. And so we're slowly getting towards that. But it's funny, right? A GoFundMe was started for the bicyclist that was fired for flipping off the president's motorcade. It's raised $100,000. Yeah. And yet people won't give $750 to make up $750 for some bikes for some kids. That blows our minds. Not that this lady doesn't deserve it, but I would think that the kids deserve bikes more. Anyway, so it's just the rest is just of the news is just all the tax reform stuff. So look, this tax battle is going back and forth. They're going to try and pull a vote tomorrow, so you really want to watch the markets. We'll be watching every tick. If you're not sure, sign up for the newsletter tonight. Right after you watch this video, click the link, sign it up. We'll be watching the market tomorrow. We'll be looking for some opportunities. We'll be cashing in our Cisco for a big gain. If you're not doing that kind of stuff and you're just watching a big red market with tears running down your cheek, then you need to be signed up with us. We'll turn that frown upside down. But that's all this news cycle is going to be for the rest of the day and probably early tomorrow morning is just this fight back and forth over these plans. So they're going to try and get a vote on it. One GOP senator has already said backed out. They can only afford to lose one more. So let's see how this works out. It should be fun. Like always, we'll have fun trading the market, and you guys should too. If you're not having fun, come hang out with the fun people. So we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Remember, keep an eye on the market because they're going to try and push that vote. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts. It looks like Trump has North Korea under control. We'll see how that works out. But like we said, we lightened up on our gold play, but we didn't sell out. We still think there might be a gold move there one way or the other. Either way, with all those huge winners, we can afford to take a small loss. So, and that's why we're being a little more risky with these options, and we'll call it a day. Thank you very much for watching. Aloha.